Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. And we begin with our top stories. A Fullan fire incident caused by fire tank has rendered many families homeless, houses reduced to ashes, and others partially consumed by the fire. We tell you more in this edition of Newscast. And Douala, Cameroon is grappling with severe waste management issues as heaps of garbage litter the city. From the bustling Dogbasi market to the University of Douala, merchants and residents endure the stench and discomfort, pointing fingers at both uncivic behavior and alleged neglect by sanitation services. And parliamentarians have given a pass to a bill to extend their term of office at the National Assembly. It was adopted during a plenary sitting this July 9, 2024, and as such, parliamentarians' election in Cameroon will take place in 2026. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. The Fullan fire incident caused by a fire tank has rendered many homeless, houses reduced to ashes, and others partially consumed by the flames. The incident has occurred yesterday evening, kept the inhabitants of the neighborhood in total panic, and shock is still heavy. More in the following story.
J'avais laissé 200 000 pour aller, c'était l'agent de Touris, le type qui me livrait souvent le haricot. J'ai mis l'argent là dans le cabas. Comme il m'a dit qu'il est au nord, il va rentrer ce soir. Donc je disais que je voulais m'amener ça hier, je suis Bayam. Je voulais amener ça hier au marché. Mon cœur me dit laisse ça ici. Comme tu peux amener cet argent au marché, tu peux encore dépenser.
Frustrated and helpless, the different families sitting homeless in tears as the heavy fire incidents reduced their houses to ashes.
La tête me fait mal. C'est maintenant que je commence. C'est pourquoi j'ai appelé les enfants d'aller m'acheter les paras parce que la tête me fait mal.
I have headache. I just sent a child to get me paracetamol. My children slept with different family members and friends this night. Everything has been consumed by the flames. How do I restart life from zero?
Tous les habits sont brûlés. Ma boya, il va encore commencer au point zéro à chercher la vie. Tant d'années.
The flames here at the Fullan neighborhood in Yaoundé started at this valley following the flow of fuel from where the tanker fell through this gutter. A terrific moment for the inhabitants. Despite the quick rush by the police and gendarmerie elements after the falling of the fuel tank to sensitize the population not to put on their gas cookers or fire of any sort, the unfortunate incident still occurred.
They tell us to be careful, but there was one woman who allumé le feu, and then the fire take over the...
The damages are enormous, but fortunately, with no human loss. Many wonder what this big snake was doing in one of the houses before being consumed by the flames.
Garbage litter the city from the Dogbasi market to the University of Douala. Merchants and residents endure the stench and discomfort, pointing figures. Reporter Gladys Ambodibang visited some of these areas. Her story.
In Douala, Cameroon, residents and businesses are wrestling with a growing waste management crisis. The Dogbasi market has become a symbol of this struggle. Huge heaps of garbage are scattered throughout the market, where merchants continue their daily activities despite the pervasive stench and the swarms of flies. These conditions have left many uncomfortable and frustrated. Vendors and residents in this neighborhood both dumped their waste here. There's need for education. The situation is equally dire near the university, almost dividing the road. The university's fence, instead of marking an educational boundary, is now an eyesore surrounded by rubbish. A condition here is terrible. Flies swarm and the stench from the garbage is unbearable, causing illnesses and road hazards. Some residents have directed their anger at the hygiene and sanitation company, accusing it of abandoning its responsibilities. They argue that the neglect has driven their customers away. The hygiene and sanitation. People continue to pile waste due to inadequate clearance by the sanitation company. You can't actually blame the population because they can't continue living with waste in their houses. Despite the ongoing blame game, the population of Douala continue to live amid mounting waste.
Traffic jams or road accidents and damaged vehicles, these are the direct consequences of deteriorating roads in Cameroon's economic city. Several major intersections in the economic hub are in a deplorable state. More in the Fullan story. Here, a section of an exhaust pipe lies destroyed by the battered road. The deplorable condition of the Carrefour Entrée to village at Bonadis and Carrefour Terminus causes constant headaches for road users. I'm uncomfortable, and it gives a rather bad image of our country. Look at the road junction that links a sub-region. The council and the government should be blamed for this. Several major intersections in the heart of Douala are deteriorated. All around, vast potholes, scattered craters, and emerging mini wells are a painful sight. It's a pity that we have a road junction like this. Imagine how difficult it is driving here. When a truck breaks down here, the whole neighborhood is paralyzed. Last night, between 7 p.m. to 11 all the roads need a complete rehabilitation. Look at the potholes that need to be filled. We have them everywhere. If they don't create passage or water, it will further degrade the roads. Motorcycles, taxis, cars and heavy-duty vehicles alike suffer from these damaged and waterlogged roads. What is vexing is that all the ministers pass around these roads, but no one is doing anything about it. However, seeing some of its roads recently paved in certain areas. Residents of Bona Musadi Douala are expressing their anger after discovering constructions on their plots of land. These landowners who have held or have been on the site for over 2 decades claim to have legally obtained their titles and are now a reporter Gladys Ambo Diba.
Things are emerging in their plots. These landowners who have held their land titles for over 25 years are now confronted with what they describe as gross injustice.
I was informed by a caretaker and was perplexed upon arrival here.
The anger stems from new markers and constant military presence on their land, which they say were legally obtained from the Monge family, the original title holders. Around 200 other families are said to be affected by the situation.
Our land titles obtained from the main portion are used as collaterals. Now we can't access our lands. They are cleared, pillars planted and constructions going on.
He stated repeatedly. In response to these developments, the complainants have taken legal action. They are seeking the administrative court's annulment of the new land title issued by the Ministry of State Property, Survey and Land Tenure to put a halt to the ongoing construction on the 21 hectares land.
And in Douala, a new identification initiative for commercial motorbike riders has sparked widespread debate. The Douala City Council's efforts in receiving strong support from the sector participants who believe it will significantly reduce the city's insecurity. A press conference to validate the new regulation was organized to that effect in Douala. Gladys Ambodiban completes that story for us. These inhabitants of the Bobongo Cité Beach neighborhood in Douala has peeling feet, forced to wade through the pools of water left by these Monday morning heavy rains. If you look at my feet, I have specialized shoes for the raining season, and since it's raining, I had to put them on. The marshy area is a nightmare for the surrounding population during the raining season. Flooded homes, steep and muddy streets are a daily routine here. You can get up at 1 a.m. and find yourself in water because the mattress is wet and you have electrical appliances connected to electricity. The worst might happen. When going out of the home, you're forced to go out at least 2 dresses. You put one in a plastic so it does not get wet, and you go out in shorts because of the floods. There are craters of water just everywhere. In the neighborhood, all the gutters are completely blocked. When it rains, the whole area is flooded. Sometimes you're forced to stay indoors for at least 3 days so the water goes down. Calling for government intervention, they blame some residents for exacerbating the situation through their irresponsible behavior. Government normally should take measures during the raining season, ensuring that water circulates normally. I deplore the attitude of the population who dump garbage in gutters. The challenging rainy season lies ahead for these many swampy neighborhoods in the city of Douala. That was what I report on how the inhabitants of the city of Douala are coping with the rainy season. And in Douala, a new initiative organized by the City Council to identify commercial motorbike riders is on. A press conference that took place in Douala, July 8, 2024. Gladys Ambodiban was part of the press conference. Her story.
Security concerns are a daily challenge for commercial bike riders in Douala. Many riders view the identification initiative launched by the Douala City Council as a crucial ally in combating insecurity. The initiative, which aims to create a safer environment for both riders and passengers, has been met with optimism from majority within the sector.
Identification is crucial due to security concerns.
However, not everyone is on board with this new measure, and notable pockets of resistance comes from a group of foreign bike riders. Speaking in anonymity, these riders express concerns over the identification process, citing fears of discrimination and bureaucratic hurdles.
Foreign bike riders called Babana are often unidentifiable. The identification initiative will help address this.
In a press conference organized July 8, 2024, bike riders unions across Cameroon united to endorse the new digital and identification platform proposed by the Douala City Council. Union representatives emphasized the importance of the initiative.
Everyone's respect administrative decision is very important.
The large-scale identification campaign is set to begin on July 11, 2024. From September 15, it will become mandatory for all commercial bike riders in Douala to be identified through this system. Failure to do so will result in the inability to legally operate within the city.
And parliamentarians have given a pass to the bill to extend their term of office at the National Assembly. It was adopted during a plenary sitting this July 9, 2024, and as such, a parliamentarians' election in Cameroon will take place in 2026. More with a reporter, Hyacinthia.
9 parliamentarians took to the rostrum at the National Assembly with questions, proposals, and gratitudes for the bill number 2061 extending their mandate.
When 2 elections are handled and the same human, financial, and material resources are deployed, which one is more expensive? I wish to know whether the crisis in the far north, northwest, and southwest are not serious enough that can enable us to postpone the presidential election.
The regional elections scheduled for December, whether there is an intention by the government desk to postpone those elections or not.
This bill demonstrates his love for peace.
For those who are not interested in the prolongation of this mandate should stop when their mandate will end.
Minister Delegate at the Presidency in charge of the National Assembly, Baldwin Wakata's response covered all the issues. In relation to the worry whether the crisis in the northwest, southwest, far north regions are not serious to postpone the presidential election.
Honorable, je suis tout à fait d'accord avec vous. On aurait pu le faire.
Honorable, I'm very okay with you. It can be done, and I think that it is something to be considered because the prolongation gives the opportunity to continue to work to appease these regions. We are hopeful that in 2025-2026 elections, the compatriots of these regions can peacefully take part in voting. The debate then ended with the adoption of this bill. With the legal backing, makes it clear that parliamentary elections will hold in 2026. In other words, presidential elections is likely to hold before, meaning the chances of opposition parties not in parliament impact less.
And the National Veterinary Laboratory has detailed out the risk of brucellosis transmission from animals to humans. Farmers from the northern regions, Adamawa and western parts of Cameroon were informed about the dangers of handling milk and meat from sick animals and the precautions to take. This was during a meeting in Garwa in the north region of Cameroon to raise awareness about the diseases. More with our reporter Gladys Ambu Ziba.
Animal and environmental health face ongoing threats from various pathogens. Recognizing these, the government of Cameroon, in collaboration with Lanavet, has embarked on a critical awareness phase for farmers, especially concerning the consumption of raw milk extracted from cows, which poses a latent threat to human health if not properly boiled or processed. Before, farmers used to extract milk from animals and drink without boiling. Thanks to this workshop, we have all been educated that before consuming milk, we must boil it first at 100 degrees centigrade. The National Veterinary Laboratory, Lanavet, a key player in this initiative by educating farmers about brucellosis, a disease prevalent in Cameroon. Despite farmers' awareness of this disease, there remains a need for heightened vigilance and improved practices to prevent its spread.
From animal product to human. So the workshop was to gather the stakeholders and all those that are dealing with the milk industry to explain to them the risk of the transmission from that disease from animal to human.
In a decisive move, the government, through its zoonosis program and Lanavet, has resolved to tackle the issue robustly. The recent workshop conducted as part of this campaign emphasized the importance of hygiene, teaching farmers essential practices such as washing their hands before handling milk.
Next is the brief with Lil Piejou. As for me, take another rendezvous same time tomorrow. From here, it's good night.